That's a good start. It's time to light the music.
It's that time again. It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Hey! It's the Berkey and the Badger and our special guest, Daryl Andrews from Maple Games. And we are in the land of Babblot. Welcome to Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble and the wonderful kingdom of Babblot. I am your rightful honorable ruler, King Berkey, and I'm the host of this elegant or not so elegant podcast, which is streamed live on YouTube direct from Babblot, where everyone is a board game enthusiast, from your humble king right down to the lowest chicken head chopper. That's an interesting chicken head chopper. It says chicken head chopper. And I'm taking, and speaking of talking about the lowest of low, welcome the court jester, Badger.
Well, hello. Yes, I know what it's like to chop heads of chickens. And yes. I can't think of the other tongue twister that there is.
Yeah, that was last show's interesting discussion, wasn't it?
Yes. Did I not change that? Oh.
I don't think you changed that. I was supposed to read it. There was supposed to be something else much more funny there, I think.
Yeah.
And it's all on you, brother.
Oh. Well, okay, yeah. It's all on me. I'll take it in the face like a pie or a chicken corpse just fluttering around. Add sound effect of chicken corpse fluttering around. I don't think it would be making a sound like that, would it? That sounds
yeah. All right. Well, tell us, Badger, what's been going on in the land of Babblot with this episode 61?
Well, yes, this is episode 61 called Publisher Wars. And in this show, we are going to talk about all the things that have been happening here in Babblot. And then we're going to do a roundup of rumors which have been going around in things that make us go, and then we're going to interrogate our new prisoner here, who has we should disclose his crime a bit later. In our we're going to go down to the dungeon and we're going to do what game is behind the dungeon door. I think that's what it should be called now. And then we'll finish off with our Babble topic, where we'll be talking about the publisher wars, the problems that publishers have, and the struggles and trials and tribulations.
Yes, it's going to be an excellent show. I'm super excited to have our special guest here. And before we get into all that and introduce him formally, just tell us a little bit what's been going on in your world of Babblot, Barry.
Well, I've been getting ready for Kickstarter season. I think, as I said in the last show, October and November is going to be jammed packed full of big Kickstarters. Yeah. Next week, I am going off to Nancy. And I'm going to the Holy Grail offices, where I'm going to be filming some rules explanations and gameplay of a game coming for Kickstarter called Badass Force, which you've probably heard me say a few times, and we can say Badass Force here, not like some channels. But,
yeah, we got to play that at Gen Con together.
We did indeed. And,
yeah, that was good fun.
Yeah, it is good fun. I'm quite proud to be the campaign manager for that as well. So I'm looking forward to chatting with people and quoting films from 80s. No, quoting lines from 80s films.
I was very glad to see Arnold was in the game. Arnold is in there, and Adrian.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what Badass Force is, it's a game based on 80s action stars, where you, in the future, you clone all these action 80s stars and you're trying to make a film and you're trying to be the best director there. And basically you're pitting these 80s stars up against each other while, loading their weapons and doing other things. And you're basically playing their powers. Really fun kind of party style, bluffing deduction game. Look out for that coming November.
Yes.
And what have you been getting ready for?
Oh man, it's been crazy here. I've been having a lot of things going on. A personal note, it's kind of a down thing, but I thought, we tend to share our lives with our guests and stuff. But my mom is suffering from advanced dementia, and so I've actually yesterday had to put her into a assisted living facility, and it's one of those situations that has. It's kind of amazing how as life happens, the community and the gaming community, a lot of times we can be transparent with one another and share our experiences. And that's one thing that I've really enjoyed. I've had a lot of support from the gaming hobby. I don't tend to whine a lot about it on Facebook or things like that. Every now and then I might say something, but generally I'm able to reach out to some of my closer friends and just say, listen, I'm struggling. I'm having this issue. And the community's just been so kind and gracious to be understanding. It's a little hard mentally to stay in the game with business and trying to manage personal life sometimes, especially with something that's a little bit traumatic like this is. So that's one thing that's been going on. So I've had an interesting couple weeks, been a little bit difficult. But on the other hand, I've been doing a lot of preparing to go to Essen.
Woo!
And yeah, and I'm like super pumped about doing that. And my wife Joan is going with me, and she's never been to a big board game convention. Okay, so it's interesting. I doubt that she's going to hang out at the show much. While we're there, she's going to probably find other things to do, because I don't think she'll enjoy the scene. She likes to play games and she loves playing family games with us, but I'm sure I'm going to take her for one day just to oversaturate her and overstimulate her for the whole day. And she'll shake her head at me and, boy, I don't know how you do this.
Yeah, she might absorb it like a sponge and adapt really quickly, or she may just think, my God, you're a bunch of kids. Look at you all. But I don't think so, actually. Essen's a slightly different affair. I think I mentioned on another show that the difference between Gen Con and Essen is there seems to be more normal people at Essen than there are at Gen Con. There are more families. There are more people that just
normal people. What is normal people?
But they're people that look like they're from a sitcom. They're not people that look like they've come from Desperate
like
Housewives.
the Brady Bunch, or
they're
Partridge
not people
Family,
they just look like what you'd expect Family Guy characters to look like if they were real. They're just like
big round heads and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
is that the way it is in Germany? It's everybody has big round oblong heads that look like footballs.
Yeah, exactly. You know why? It's because when they don't carry bags, they buy games and then they just stick them in their mouth.
They're like chipmunks. They're hoarding for the winter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my bag, my nut, my new game. I need more room.
Let's say hello to Rick and Ben and Kabuki, who have joined us.
Kabuki kids in the house. Rick, how you doing? Yay. Ben, how are you, brother?
They're all doing good. They're all happy, which is great. And let's introduce someone else, because we've got a new prisoner who has been caught smashing stained glass windows in the churches in Babblot. The guards caught him last week. He wasn't using traditional stones. He was using dice. Yes.
Dice. All colors, all kinds of colorful dice.
I do like my colorful dice, I must admit.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Daryl Andrews from Maple Games.
Daryl M. Andrews. Daryl, I just have to say, you are one of my. I love it when we get together and get to meet at conventions. You're always one of the most upbeat, happy guys to be around. And I remember first meeting you a couple years ago and introducing. It was this awesome experience we had at the Dice Tower convention.
That's right.
We were just starting. You tell the story.
Well, I love the story. I still tell the story to this day because my wife even references it and tells, like it's fun for her to tell her friends, like, oh, my husband's like a board game designer and that's actually his job. But the cool thing is we did business in the pool.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we were.
Splish splash! I was taking a bath.
That's right. We were hanging out in the swimming pool at Dice Tower, talking shop, and that was the very first time we really. I mean, we had seen each other at shows, but that was the first time we kind of talked about each other's businesses and how we could do some stuff together. Obviously, game topper related, not.
Yeah, I was just thinking you're talking about you doing your business in the pool.
Business in the
Hold
pool.
on a second. Oh.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was a first. So my wife
The
still
water always
talks
about around you when you do the business in the pool, right?
Well, hey, no comment.
It was really fun because this was just at the initial launch of Game Toppers. We had some prototypes. This is before we had went to Gen Con, before I did Kickstarter and we ran frantically just to make these 6 tables to see if we could do this thing. And people loved them. And Daryl had saw some of the Game Toppers and he goes, I'd like to get one of those. And as we started talking, it was like, yeah, I work with IDW and we've got this coming out and we'd love to get that. And I said, yeah, we can get you a rail so you can convert half of your topper into a mini. And Daryl was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. We were in right from the beginning. It was a fun time to even just see the excitement and, where people would come over to check out a game and then be like, oh, how could I get one of these toppers as well? So it was just an all around really fun experience to have people explore and find them for the first time.
Yeah, no, that's it. I love the synergy that happens with Game Toppers and publishers, because not only can we show off our idea to upgrade people's gaming experience, we can also present the experience of this new game in a really high quality fashion and give that experience to the customer. And it just highlights and exposes that game in such a nice way. And we were actually able to get some custom mats made for Maple Games, your new company. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was fun. Just at Grand Con coming up, we had ordered some custom mats for our toppers here at Maple HQ. And so while we were at Grand Con, we got to set them up, and it was fun to see people react to them. And they came out beautifully. And Maple as a company is brand new, so it helped draw some attention to us as well as we put out our first game that's now on Kickstarter. But at Grand Con, we were demoing it so that people could check it out for the first time. And it was a win-win. Like, people were excited. I feel like we sent a bunch of people over to your booth because they were asking us about the toppers and the brand new mats that we had custom made. But at the same time, it drew lots of attention. We got to demo the game to lots of people. So
tell us a little bit about yourself then, as far as this is the interrogation part here, but for those that I can't believe anybody in the hobby doesn't know Daryl M. Andrews.
But I don't. Look, we're from the south side of Babblot here. We don't get to see all the ins and outs which go on, all the crimes which happen. We get a lot of crime every day, and it's like, it's like commonplace. But when you actually hear about it, sire, these crimes, and you arrest people, then we start to take notice. So yes, Daryl. Tell us about Maple. How did it form? What made you become a publisher?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, even my attack on stained glass windows really comes from my previous life before Maple Games, and that was that I got to be a co-designer of a game called Sagrada, which thankfully lots of people have responded really positive to it. And to be honest, I had a few games before that, but Sagrada was really the game that helped Adrian and I kind of get noticed and open a lot more doors for us. So Sagrada, for anyone who doesn't know, is a stained glass making game with dice. We love dice, and we just came together with that idea. And then since then, we've had a few other games take off. We've worked with I work with mostly co-designers when I do design work, and so I've worked with a handful of phenomenal designers and about 20 or so publishers. So thankfully, gained a lot of experience and learned a lot along the way. And then from those experiences, decided to be a fool and jump into the publishing end of things and take on all the stresses of Kickstarters and publishing and all. I love hats, but there's a lot of hats to be worn when you're a publisher.
Okay, maybe we should talk about that a bit later in the Babble subject then.
Sounds
Tell
like a
us
plan.
some of the other games that you've designed.
So definitely some of the others. I have a few with IDW. So, for instance, I did a game called Mine O' Mines. We also did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, a Back to the Future game. Those were with Adrian. I did a game called Roar with Erica Boyoris, and also we have a game called Ink Monsters, and that actually just got picked up by Renegade. They did a Ghostbusters version of the game, so that just came out. I saw pictures of it at New York Comic-Con. Haven't actually got to see a copy myself even, so that's right off the presses. Speakeasy Blues with Artana just came out, and we're really thankful for a great response to that. I did City of Gears with Chris Leader.
Wonderful.
With Gray Fox Games. That had a really great reception on Kickstarter and is just about to fulfill.
And that's supposed to be at Essen, and that's a big hit for Essen.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's been featured on some of the highlight, top 20 type games you need to check out at Essen. So we're hoping people will enjoy it and get excited. And they're at the Gray Fox booth, and I think Gray Fox is in Hall 2. So check them out. I just had a game come out in Target, the Oregon Trail. So that was really exciting to do the licensed old computer game that I love. So
yeah.
So a variety of stuff, some licensed stuff, some original stuff. More to come out as time goes on. Some games I can't talk about yet, but hopefully they'll be announced soon. But while I'm doing the design work freelance, I'm also trying to juggle publishing with Maple. And so we're going to hopefully put out a half a dozen games a year from a variety of designers, new designers to veteran designers.
That's a lot for a new company.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you actually, right now, you're running on Kickstarter, you're running Dragon Boats.
That's right,
It looks fantastic.
We're really excited about it. It's got really cool 3D dragon boats. It's designed by Michael Schock, who does incredible, elegant design games. We think it's really, a game that anyone could play. So if you're newer to games, it could be your gateway game. If you're a gamer and you're looking for play a few games in a night, you could play that and something else, or play it with a coworker. Our hope is it's beautiful, it's well polished, and it's something that you can easily add to your collection and be proud of it on your shelf.
Yeah, that's exciting. I backed it. I love the artwork. I thought it just looks cool, and I'm sure with your design pedigree and all that, it's going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah, we're pumped about it. We've been spending a long time really making sure it is a phenomenal game, and Michael already designed an incredible game. Michael's designed games like Zularedo, Coloretto, Web of Power, On China, you name it. So he's already like a top-notch designer, and then we got to get our hands in there too and play around with it a bit. So that was a lot of fun working with him.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to move on to our next segment, but Barry, before we do so, you have been doing a fantastic job with our Board Game Geek Guild 2248, where you've been putting up polls about the episode. During the episode, we asked these questions, and we had some fantastic questions in this poll. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, our last show was about gaming groups getting together. And the question was to you guys and girls is, what's your favorite way to experience a game? And I put several suggestions, like playing at home or playing at a friend's home, playing in a game store, playing at a club or an association, conventions, or other. Which one do you think got the most votes?
Well, I know the answer.
Oh, you know the answer.
I can guess.
Go on then.
Go ahead. Guess.
I would think playing it at a friend's house.
Ooh, 16% said that, and myself included.
Huh.
Okay.
But 69% of the votes went to playing at your own home.
Wow.
Yeah, which is incredible.
What was the total breakdown?
So you had 69% at home, 16% at a friend's home, 5% at which said other, but nobody left any comments to say what that other was,
Ooh,
which is nice. You got 4% playing at a club or an association, 2% playing at a store, and 1% playing at home. Playing at a convention.
Wow, only 1% at conventions. That's incredible.
And we had a pretty good sample size. I mean, there was quite a few people that joined in on the on that poll, right?
Yeah, there was. It was 89 votes in total.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a sample size. Rick Ortloff says Berkey's home.
Yeah, the perk of going to someone else's house, you don't have to clean up. You don't have to, man, what?
Don't have to rely on pop and beer or nothing.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Drink my buddy's beer.
Yeah, because I know when I'm playing a game at my house and I'm constantly thinking in the back of my head, should I go and ask anyone if they don't drink? And I'm not really concentrating about my game. I'm just like, there's games that I want to play and play at a professional level, with no rules learning. And I've got friends that knows these games and we just want to sit down and I want to concentrate really hard and thrash their asses because they really beat me at everything. But it's like, I take my turn and then I go, does anyone want something to eat? Can I get you something? Oh, there's no toilet paper left. Oh, I'll go and get some. It's like, and so I'm totally distracted. And my strategy at the beginning of the game is totally gone halfway through the game. And I'm thinking, oh, I've made a mistake. I shouldn't have moved there. I shouldn't have done that. And it's like, ah. So going to someone else's house, I don't have that stress. I can just go 100% in the game. Tunnel vision. So that's why I voted that.
Yeah, you get into hospitality mode, and it is a little bit different. But we love having people over to our home, and we try to do just here in it was in late August. We actually scheduled a day to play Twilight Imperium, 4th edition, and we had 6 people here, and it was the big whoop-de-doo. But you got to plan pizza, you got to plan breakfast, and so Joni's making monkey rolls, and you got to break so you can have food. And we love to do a lot of food. Sometimes I'll smoke a bunch of meat and we'll have a great big rib fest or something going on when we do it, So that's always a good time. But we used to do Tuesday night game nights at our home, and we were pretty consistent with every Tuesday. And then after Game Toppers blew up, my bandwidth for gaming in the evening dried up very quickly. So we've been doing actually more gaming recently on the weekends. And my daughter Maddie was just home over the weekend. And that was really cool because we normally don't get to game together on the weekend. And on Sunday afternoon, we played 3 games, which was just super cool. And so with all that, we have our sponsor, Academy Games, one of our sponsors, Academy Games and Arcane Wonders. But Academy Games is doing some amazing stuff out in the hobby. As many of you know, their games are just absolutely top-notch. You take a look at, when I look at my shelf, I have a segment there of just Academy Games. They've always been some of my favorite. If I were listing publishers, and this is no BS, the Academy Games has always been one of my top publishers. I love what they do with their execution of the games. I love what they do with the content and just the fun factor of the games. I started out playing 1775 was my first experience with them. And this is in the Birth of America series. They had 1754, they had 1812. Now they've come up with 878 Vikings, and these are card-driven area control, less war game, but area control, strategic, wonderful products. Mare Nostrum. I mean, this thing's off the hook. This game is so fun. It's so beautiful. This great big player mat that they have that you can get, it's just fantastic. The buildings, the production of the game, and then the execution of all of the different game mechanics. And it's put together so elegantly. And they've always had this little edge of this academic, it's called Academy Games, so that there's a learning experience, whether there's a historical, factual element. They came out with a game called Freedom, the Underground Railroad. I mean, this is a beautiful game. Daryl, you're from Canada.
Yeah, I played it. It's a great game.
It's crazy good, right?
Yeah.
I generally don't care for co-op games. This one I just loved, and it's dealing with a very sensitive topic of slavery, but it's done in such a way that is so thoughtful and gave historical backdrop that schools actually use this game to teach some of that part of history. So it's done in a way that is just very thoughtful, and I just appreciate that so much. And anyway, Academy Games, they have a brand new game that's just being fulfilled from Kickstarter called Tutors. And it's just really interesting. We talked about it on the last show, area control, or excuse me, worker placement with the nobles, but it has some very unique mechanics that is I loved it compared to some of the worker placement I played. You have these rings on your fingers for these player shields. And if you get one or two of these give you different abilities. So depending on the amount of rings that you accumulate, gives you different abilities in the worker placement. There's a little bit of take that in it, and a beautiful production. Again, that's Tutors. And from Academy Games, go check them out. academygames.com.
Yeah, you need to do a pause when you say from our sponsor, Academy Games, and then do a pause. And then, because when I edit the audio, it's like I'm trying to cut you, but you've already started saying the word. It's like, argh! But anyway, yeah.
Okay, this is it. You're gonna get it right now. Okay, pause.
Off the page.
Pause.
Yeah, go on then.
Pause. Wait for it. And now from our sponsor, Academy Games. Pause. Wait for it. So check out academygames.com. But wait, there's more. Check out academygames.com twice.
Thank you. That gives me something to edit.
Well, we're going to move right along to our next segment, Things That Make You Go,
Oh, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Don't do that.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Anyway, yes, go. Music.
Things that make us go, Board game news. Berkey and Badger reflect on the current events that are happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad. But they're all things that make us go,
I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Things that make you go, So, Barry, what in the news is making you go,
Not really news, but just out of curiosity. Chronicles of Crime, which was a Kickstarter from Lucky Duck Games, has just dropped at people's doors very, very early. The game was supposed to be ready for December this year, but it's October already, and people have received the game. Basically, because the physical version of the game is available, but the app side is not 100% up to speed. And what's making me go, is there are people reviewing the game already when it's not 100% complete. There are bugs in the game. There are scenarios which are still not unlocked. So it's kind of like, it's like, I don't know. It's like watching a preview of a film before it's had its final edit, so to speak. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because, with Kickstarter in particular, back in the day, you went to Kickstarter, you had an idea on a napkin and you said, hey, help me make this. And nothing was really produced. It just was in conceptual form. And today, the expectations on Kickstarter are so elevated that you need to come into this baby with full art assets. You have to have playthroughs. You have to have videos from people putting things together. And then when you add something like this, an app integration that you're still working on, I mean, that's an incredible amount of investment of time, resources, money you're basically producing it almost before you go to Kickstarter. And so that expectations, I think, has been elevated. What we expect from a Kickstarter, where rather than it just being a, hey, we're going to help you build your dream, now it's like, what can you show me that makes me want to buy what you're doing?
Yeah, for me, it's just like, go on, Daryl.
Oh, I was just going to say, absolutely. I think consumers are expecting more and more. I think something like Chronicles of Crime, the irony is they delivered early, and then people are giving them flack. I you know, how many times do you hear about things delivering late and then they get flack? It's like you can't win in that scenario. Instead of maybe just being happy that you got your game early and be patient, and maybe around December the app will be all ready.
Yeah, right.
Ben Lunch has put up this game feels incomplete by random board game reviewer. But yeah, I just kind of feel that's, you know, it's not, I don't know if technically it's not right, I don't believe, but I think people are just reviewing the game now so they could be the first and then get 3,000 clicks more than someone else.
Okay, I just got to stop for a second. I see Kabuki Kid. She wrote, sort of lost touch though. Then she goes, ignore what I said, wrong window. Earlier, she pointed out that we are going opposite of the dice tower, and why are we doing that? And I said, no, they're going opposite of us. Okay, but now I see what's going on. She is watching two windows. She is committing podultery right now. I see it, and she's gonna go ha 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 and laugh out loud. She's gonna say ROLOL. She's gonna even say that sometimes.
Yeah, but she's a lady, and ladies can do two things at once, maybe possibly more.
Well, maybe, yeah. See, I don't think like that because I can only do this one thing that I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, I know. You were doing your email earlier, and I was talking to you, and it was like, yeah, what?
I know.
Oh, don't worry. I'm in the same boat.
It's okay that you're a podulterer, Kabuki Kid.
We love you, and we'll give you lots of love when we actually meet you and hug you.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the day to meeting Kabuki Kid. She's been so great to be on the show and have a lot of fun with us.
Yeah, she's great everywhere. Every live stream, she's there. It's just like, wow. She
joins on the Alaboom. She's always on Robert Oren's channel, so yeah. I get to talk with her in the chat every now and then.
Yeah. So, what's been making you go?
Well, there's a couple things in the news that made me go, and it was interesting. This is a little bit on the business side of what's happening in the industry, but
was there a pool involved?
What?
Was there a pool involved?
Yeah, we did business in the pool.
Okay.
Lots of business in the pool. I read this notification. This was on a screen right above the pool. You know, at night when you watch the movie, this came across the screen, made me go, Oh,
it's like an outdoor cinema pool.
In the pool.
It's not driving. It's a business driving pool cinema.
Yeah, without the things on the... You don't drive in with a car because cars don't work in the water very well.
Yeah, but, they do. I've seen James Bond have one.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I stand corrected.
I think Thunderbirds have one as well.
Everybody has one. I just don't know about it. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, so, I don't think John the Baker doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No.
I think he has some rats that he makes as slippers, but that's about it.
I think Doc Brown has one.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it's in the future.
Okay.
So... Yeah, this is what you got yourself into, Daryl. Absolutely, brother.
Yeah, and he can't escape. He's in his cell now, and he's having to put up with this.
Well, this is part of the torture. This is what we do. This is how we rehabilitate people.
Yes.
So what I found interesting is a little bit of a business note, and I've been following a couple things in the trade. Some of it is directly related, some a little less, but Toys R Us, many people know, have went bankrupt, and they were having a lot of people coming in, creditors, to go to auction. They thought that they would receive about 22 cents on the dollar. Creditors were the ones that were pushing for this. A lot of the stores have closed and liquidated their storage assets, all of that stuff. In addition, another company that is, Toys R Us had a lot of toys, but they also had a game segment that was a little bit more the big box type of games that you would see in Walmart, so forth, but a few of the hobby board games. And you were seeing them move more into the hobby board game market and the crossover of toys. But then we had Barnes and Noble, who have really been moving. It's been some crazy drama. They've been moving strongly in the board game market. So there's been some great activity there. There's talk of them setting up their coffee shops to be able to facilitate gaming in those environments, to attract people to the store. The local store in Fargo, North Dakota, 50 miles from me, actually had a game night that they promoted once a week. So they've stepped up their game. They've had specials. There's been more marketing. But internally, Barnes & Noble has been losing a lot of money the last few years. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of information regarding the CEO and his involvement in the company and the last director that they hired and the conflict that's going on there. And their numbers continue to go down. And I just saw that they are now entertaining opportunities for acquisition. So this is very interesting. You have Toys R Us that have gone bankrupt, creditors demanding their money, going to auction, but then all of a sudden in another announcement, Toys R Us says there's a better way for us to recoup our investment by reintegrating these under a new brand and taking the actual physical assets of the product and remarketing in a new format. So a new company basically emerging, selling like a Toys R Us type of model, and then Barnes and Noble going into acquisition. And I got thinking about it. How does this affect the hobby board game market? How does the two companies being totally separate, but I wonder what's going to happen with both of those entities. Is there a possibility of a merging? Is there a possibility of something that the hobby board game, Toys R Nobles, Ben says. I mean, what if a company that and I don't know, I'm talking off the top of my head, but Asmodee or some of the distribution houses were able to become involved in this process to make this entity that could create the larger hobby board game market. I don't know if that would really happen, but I'm just, it really made me go, Very, very interesting to see what's going to happen. You have any thoughts on that?
It's that's a tough one for me because again, we don't have those kind of big types of stores over here. We've got Toys R Us. I don't know if it's still there. I think actually, I think the Toys R Us in France is still running because it's like a separate arm and it's got its own like financial base. So there's no problems there. Again, they don't really sell. They do sell a selection of board games, but most of them are the kind of common ones that you'd find practically anywhere, like the Connect Fours and the Monopolies. The last time I went, which was about a couple of years ago, they had a large selection of Catans and Ticket to Rides and all the little kind of tin games which you get from Cocktail Games or Bombay-X. I can't really comment much more than that because again, it's going to affect the world somehow. But I think a lot of people might just automatically go to Amazon because Amazon seems to be just, I don't know, going to take over the world. I think one day they're going to run everything.
Well, they already do. We just don't know it. So Daryl, where do you live, in Toronto or?
Yeah, just outside of Toronto. We still have Toys R Us actually in Canada, similar to, I believe, France. They're run separately. So there was a period of time where when everything kind of shook out, they weren't sure if they'd have to liquidate and close down or kind of they rallied together and found a way to keep the stores open in Canada. But I mean, we're small potatoes compared to, I think in the States there's got to be 500 Toys R Us stores. In Canada it's a small percentage. I agree with you though. Amazon seems to be taking over the world. and it's squeezing everyone. Even our local, area game stores are struggling to compete sometimes because people walk into our local game store with their phone and then check the prices and go, oh well, I just ordered it for $2 cheaper. And it's like, just spend a couple bucks more, and this is going to help our hobby and our stores here. But I get it. I mean, time, money is tight as well, so saving a few bucks is helpful. But
I think one thing that the stores could do better is back Kickstarters, because that's something that Amazon does not sell. It doesn't sell, exclusive Kickstarter games.
I agree.
If stores backed Kickstarters, they bought themselves a little handful, then they would still be, they'd have this niche which web online doesn't have.
Yep. Yeah, well, and they'd be first to have something. It's always nice to be, something that attracts people to the store is when you have unique products. So
yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that is too. And if publishers, did that within their campaigns, I see that happening with several of them where they actually do that, where they say, if you buy 10 copies, I think on your Dragon boats, you actually have a pledge level for.
Yeah, we're trying to incentivize. I used to always enjoy this even myself. Well, a bunch of local gamers would rally together and say like, oh, let's get a 6-pack. So we're offering the same thing so that, you can save a few bucks, and also it encourages your game community to talk to each other and figure something out. So,
well, I think one thing that's this might even be a whole nother topic to talk about, because we're seeing digital implementation in the board game hobby, but we're not seeing a full transfer from the tactile board game to digital board game. But it's increasing. You're seeing apps and integration, but with Barnes and Noble, Toys R Us not so much, but Barnes and Noble particularly, you're seeing it in the chat. People talking about CDs and digital video, digital music. Back in the day, we were grabbing hard tactile product, and now it's just so much easier to deal with that digitally, and that's had a big impact on the music industry, on the retailing community, and so forth.
Yep. I used to work for Blockbuster, so
wow.
I knew it firsthand. I was just reminiscing, seeing a movie where people were picking a video in the video store, and I thought, man, like people don't even know what that is now.
No,
right?
No. You're gonna love Captain Marvel then.
Yeah, and you talk to people about VHS. I tell my kids about stories. We tell them about the rotary phone. I still remember this. My daughters having a rotary phone, and they did not know what to do. They were pushing. They were pushing inside the holes, trying to figure out what to turn the phone on. It's like things have changed so rapidly in the last 15, 20 years. That it's almost inconceivable. Inconceivable.
Yeah, it's strange. They still make those Fisher-Price phones for babies. We got one with the rotatory number thingy doobie.
Funny.
And you pull the cord, the eyes go up and down.
Well, we have another sponsor, Badger, for you to talk about, in Arcane Wonders.
Pause. Yes, Arcane Wonders are one of our very, very, very our first sponsor, and they bring out some fantastic games over the years. Their current game, which is coming soon, or is soon, is Critical Mass, a droid versus droid game where players will build droids and beat the snot out of each other.
Mech on mech battles.
Yeah, and I don't know if mechs have snot. But they've also bring out loads of other games, wonderful games like Onitama, which is a fantastic 2-player abstract game. But they've also bring out Senshi, which is another fantastic abstract game. But this one's for 4 players, where you are picking up chits and moving chits about and trying to get a collection of chits. It's a fantastic, fun game. And I need to play it again because I've forgotten how good it is already. But also, way back in time, Sheriff of Nottingham, one of the greatest games that there is. And I still need to do a video review of that. And I still need Berkey to act out the king.
The good Sheriff of Nottingham will make an appearance at your convenience, sir.
Okay. We look forward to that. Yes. Arcane Wonders, the wonderful purveyor of many, many games, many titles, including Royals, which again is my kind of replacement for Ticket to Ride, or an alternative version of Ticket to Ride, which is interesting in the fact that you're drafting cards and you're taking over regions of Europe. And nobles, you're stabbing people in the back. Not really, because they're cubes. You can't stab a cube in the back. But yeah, Arcane Wonders, our wonderful, wonderful sponsor. Thank you very much. I don't do adverts. I don't do adverts much.
I tell you, we've been with Arcane Wonders now for the last 2 years, and their Dice Tower Essential lineup of games has just been fantastic. But they've got a ton of stuff on the horizon. They did Spoils of War, of course, that I was involved with, which is super fun. Liar's Dice variant that just puts Liar's Dice on steroids. And then also Ruby, which is one of the big IP games that they've done. They did all the production, and Brian Pope, the owner, actually did all of the game design for Ruby, and this has a huge cult following. I mean, they have like 7,000 viewers of the Ruby animated series, so that's a big deal to that audience. So very interesting, and just great people, great production value, great attention to detail. So love Arcane Wonders. Check them out at arcanewonders.com.
Pause. Thank you very much.
So we're going to move on to our fun. We've got a guest. We've got a prisoner.
Prisoner. Not guest.
Prisoner. And we are going to go into our segment, What Game is Behind the Door?
Welcome, everybody, to What Game is Behind the Door? In this segment, will we put in our special guest to the test by asking them 3 questions. Questions like, what was the last game that they purchased? What is the game they're most excited about getting? And what is their favorite game right now? Berkey and Badger will have to figure out what these answers are by asking questions in particular styles. Let's find out if Berkey and Badger can get 3 out of 3 or fall flat on the floor like a floundering thingy.
There it is. Bring us into the show. Tell us about our game there, Badger.
Okay, let me get the right window up. So we have in our dark and dingy dungeon, Daryl Andrews. Andrews. Oh dear. We start again. Take 7. We have here in our dark and dank and dirty dungeon, Daryl Andrews, because of his bad habit of smashing windows. And also, we've just found out recently that he's been putting fresh cheese in his board games and smuggling it to those sectors in the south quarter of Babblot. We caught him. Wow, I didn't catch him. That was George the guard. He was on his tea break recently, and we were talking about, I was talking about John the baker. He didn't have any slippers, so he cut some rats up and used them as slippers. But anyway, we are going to interrogate Daryl with some questions. We're going to ask 3 questions and find out his popular games and the games that he wants to get right now, and also stuff about board games. That's why we're here. We're here for board games. So our first question is, what was the last game that Daryl purchased? And we're going to do this in a kind of 20 questions, yes, no kind of fashion, but we're only going to ask 5 questions each. So we'll ask a question, and then Daryl will say either yes, no, or sometimes there's those gray areas, so it might be in between. And then after we've both asked a question each, it's going to be a case of him doing a component moment where he will show us a component to try and help us along the road to guess what these games are. And you can join in.
Really good at this, Daryl.
Really?
Really awesome. Like, you're awesome, cool.
I think I'm going to stump you.
All right. Well, we're going to see.
Berkey's already stumpy. Oh, no. Oh, stump us. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Stumpy.
It's been a while.
It has been a little bit while since we played. I think Scott Alden was the last guest that we did this with, right?
Yeah.
Or did we have Jamie Johnson on?
Yeah. We have him on regularly.
All right. So,
question.
what was the last game that you purchased? So, the question I have for Daryl Andrews is...
And those of you that are telepathic, you will know this question by heart.
Is it in the size of a standard Ticket to Ride box?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
No.
My question is, has this game been released in the past 2 years?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You always ask that too.
I know.
let me confirm.
Yeah, show us the title, will you?
Yeah, I'll just lift it right up. No. Or yes, in the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years. Okay.
Yes. Okay, good.
Right. So it's component moment. Daryl's going to hold up a component. We will describe it to you podcast listeners. And for those of you who are watching, join in, see if you can guess.
Okay, so the first one, obviously, I gotta go difficult. I can't make it easy.
Yeah.
So, but it's a unique color.
It is. It's kind of
like a lime pea green. It looks like pea soup.
Mm.
Yeah, pea soup and ham. I
would
that,
say
actually.
olive. More olive.
Olive. I say pea
disc.
soup.
It's
Chat, what do you say? Is it olive or is it pea soup?
All right.
That could be our poll.
You ready for the next one?
So we got a pea soup.
No.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. Okay, so
we have a pea soup round wooden token.
I can't think of what game would come out with a piece like that.
Wooden disc.
I'm going to
pass. Kid says 13 days. Wow. We're supposed to turn the chat off right now.
Oh, we're supposed to turn the chat off.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to look. Okay, I took it off.
Chat.
I don't know what you guys are saying anymore.
Yeah, they're probably insulting us now, Bert. You can probably get. I'd rather
know. I'll go back and watch it, though. I got to tell you.
Okay. We will pass and go into our next round of questions.
Okay. So, second question: is this a worker placement game?
No. Let me double check.
He hasn't played
it.
See,
he's bought the game and he hasn't played it.
I opened it.
Heard about it.
I opened it. I opened the shrink, but
you had a sniff.
He doesn't know what it is.
I had a sniff.
He purchased it.
I just want to make sure.
Purchased it.
I want to make sure that I'm giving truthful information. So
yeah, we want truthful information.
I'm like 99% sure, but let me double check. No, that is not a mechanism.
It's not going to be good, Barry. I can tell you. Badger is not going to be good.
No.
Okay, no worker placement. We're happy with that. No soup for you.
Okay. Would you say the game is mainly a Euro style?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay. Right. Component moment number 2.
Component number 2.
Euro game.
All right, here we go.
Wow.
Ooh, it looks like a little pyramid with a railroad track underneath it.
Mm.
Would you say that's a railroad track or a ladder?
Why would you need a ladder to climb a pyramid?
Well, it's a triangle that kind of looks like a pyramid, but it looks like there's a ladder underneath it, and he keeps turning it around to distract us.
Yeah, he's
trying to trick us to make it look upside down, but we know better. It's printed on both sides. It's like a little cardboard shit.
It's like special effects of 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, and he dropped it.
Yep. No, dear.
I
can't.
Must not be substantial cardboard.
No. Okay.
Wow.
No. This is not looking good at the moment. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I don't have a clue yet either. So we'll pass.
All right. So your question is going to be, does this game have trains? Mine's going to be, does this game have pyramids? All right.
I was not thinking that. I was thinking more about Cleopatra.
Oh.
But So is this game? Is this a social deduction game?
No.
Okay.
Is this a route building game?
No.
No. Okay.
Did you say route building?
Yeah. Yeah, ticket to ride. No.
No route building. Okay. Third component.
So there's trains out.
I'm going to make things easier for you.
Go on then.
Ooh. It's a card that has a number 8 with a bunch of coins in the middle of the card that say 8 on them. So it's like 8 coins.
They're coins, are they? They look like cakes or potato hashes.
It could be slices of potatoes with engraved 8s on it, or it could be a golden coin with an 8.
You can say you ate a potato.
I think the latter. Okay, Barry. I think the latter.
You think that the ladder or the pyramid?
No, not the train ladder, but the actual ladder of what I said.
Okay. Now, is that a victory point card or is that a power card? Okay.
No, that's coins. That's money. It's currency.
Yeah, possibly. I would have thought, well, if they had a token, which was a triangle, surely they'd have tokens that would be currency. So I reckon that that's a card that you draft or play. Okay.
We do know the answer, but we're going to drag it out.
Yeah, we're going to drag it out. Okay, question number 4 each.
Okay, question number 4. Does this play under total of 30 minutes?
Does this play? Oh, man, you guys are really making me work here. No.
No. It's longer than 30
this
minutes.
is a long game.
It's a Euro.
Longer game.
Recently. Okay. Does this game come with cheese in it?
I wish. No.
He's been smuggling. It's his own game. He smuggled it in. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Does this game involve bidding?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's a bidding game.
Yes.
Okay, so we have not a Ticket to Ride game. It's within the last 2 years, not worker placement. It's a Euro. It's not social deduction. It's plays in more than 30 minutes, and it's a bidding game.
Ready for your next component?
We are indeed.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
That's going to be victory point.
It's a victory point 5. It looks like a kind of like a laurel on a stand with the number 5.
Crop circle, more like.
It looks like the Holy Grail, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's more like a laurel leaf.
Or it could be an eagle with its wings spread.
Oh, it could be an eagle. A number 5 on it, so it's a victory point condition.
And he's got very clean nails, I must say.
Yeah, he does. Well,
manicured this morning. He knew he was going to be on the show.
Yeah, he does all kinds of shows. He's a superstar. That's what superstars do.
Wow, I'm going to look down the hotness of Board Game Geek because I haven't got a clue.
So it's 1, 2. So we have one more question. Is this a game that is currently being distributed in the United States?
Yes.
Okay, it's distributed in the U.S.
I bought it at my local area game store.
Yeah, but that's in Toronto. Okay, so Badger.
Oh wow. Does this game have resources?
Ooh.
It's a Euro game. See, every time he doesn't know, he's got to go look at Board Game Geek. He's got to open up the game. He hasn't played this. He didn't even want this game. Somebody said buy it, and he just bought it because he was.
If it's his own design,
when he got this game, he didn't want this game. He was tricked into buying this game.
Someone find the plug and unplug in. Okay. That was our last questions then. That was a no for resources.
One more component?
Last component.
One more component, so no.
It's do or die. Oh!
Okay, it has a cardboard ankh, which is like kind of like a cross with a circle on the top. It's an Egyptian symbol. And I'm going to make a guess, a wild guess here, and I'm going to say Cleopatra something architects.
That's not correct.
Oh, man.
No, the last question ruled out fertility for me. I thought it might have been fertility, even though I've played it and I didn't recognize the pieces. Idiot.
I'd like to try fertility, but no.
Yeah, nice light game. It's a game in Egypt, so obviously it was a pyramid. Obviously it was a ladder climbing up the pyramid.
It's definitely an Egyptian themed game.
It's Euro style. It's not in the same size as a Ticket to Ride box. It's
Come on, Badger, you can win it for us. You can win it for us.
And it's a recent game as well.
I know one, but mine's still in the shrink wrap. And I bet you it has those components if I opened it up.
That's an old game, that is, though.
Well, I love the first one. This was the expansion, and I haven't seen it yet.
Valley of the King Afterlife.
Yeah, from AEG. I'm stumped. I don't know. I'm going to open this up because I want to play this anyway.
I'm stumped, and I'm going to have to pass. You've stumped us. Well done, Daryl.
So do I show you?
Now you can show us.
No, we're going to sign you off now.
Oh, come on. Amun-Re.
That's
a new reprint.
The card game.
It's the new Reiner Knizia reprint, right?
Well, it's a remake because it's the card game of it.
I should have known it was Super Meatball. Ah.
I hear that's really good.
I'm excited. I love Amun-Re. I love Knizia, so when I saw it at my local store, I had to buy it.
Yeah, I heard about them making the reprint, but I hadn't seen it. And oh man, good one.
I didn't know. My friend works for Super Meatball, well, it's a demonstrator, and he gets all the new games. But he hadn't got that one. That's strange. Well, he has got it, and he hasn't shown me.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Daryl, next show that we go to, that I connect with you, will you bring Amun-Re, the card game, and we can play it?
Yeah, let's play it.
Okay, Daryl, tell us.
And then we will come back and tell all of our fans about what happened.
So why did you buy that, Daryl?
Honestly, I love the original game, and the idea of the card game to me means it's going to be small and compartmentalized. You know, I can travel with it easily.
Okay.
So if it's anything like Amun-Re, then I'm going to be real happy with it.
It doesn't look like anyone on the chat got it. Kabuki was stumped. You even stumped Kabuki, and she's like the resident genius. She knows it all.
Yeah.
That's awesome that we stumped Kabuki Kid.
I reckon we should give Daryl extra points for stumping Kabuki as well.
You know, we've never done that before, but we might consider that unless we win the next two.
Yeah.
And we win and we're still on top.
Okay, no problems. Question number 2, Daryl. What
Yeah.
game are you most excited about getting? And in this one, Daryl's already drawn an image for us, and we have to guess from this cryptic crayon colored thingy what.
No,
the
he did
game
this
is.
ahead of time. He did his homework, and
Yeah.
I have a sense that this man is an incredible artist.
Are you ready for the greatest piece of art you've ever seen?
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
baby. Come
You
on.
ready?
Bring it on.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
It's I think he's copied the box because that looks like a Stronghold Games castle in the bottom corner.
Did you draw this? Or
I drew this.
Did your child draw this? Do you have children?
I don't.
It's a
I know
very
I'm
abstract.
married, but this looks like 2-year-old drawing. I mean,
It
I
looks
don't
like
want to say anything bad. I'm just saying, I guess.
I can see a sun, a rainbow, and the rainbow's got wind coming out of it with the moon, a crescent moon.
Oh my God. Move it over a little bit to the left or my right. There you go. Now,
Okay.
it almost looks like there's wheels on the bottom.
Yeah, that looks like a car That's
now
the
it looks
front
like
end
a
of
car with a headlight. And so, yeah, that's a grill. That's a grill on the front with a emblem, 2 great big honking headlights, and 2 wheels. And so it's like a race car. It says, what game are you most excited about getting? Now, is there anything else that drawing could be?
Turn it upside down. It's a woman in the cinema doing a business.
In the swimming pool.
Oh, okay. Flip it around. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
You know what it is?
Yeah, because he's got the down. If you move it a little higher, see, we see our chat. We can't see it, but now I see. Go a little higher. Up. There you go. There's the Stronghold Games logo. This is Kanban.
Nope.
Come on.
No, it's not Kanban. Kanban's got a different cover.
What is Stronghold Games doing that's got a car in it?
That's another German game that's been imported, isn't it? Autobahn. No.
Autobahn. The Autobahn.
No. I know.
Classic Rolls Royce.
I've seen the
German.
cover.
Think German.
I've seen the cover. Oh, no. No, I can't think what it's called. But the box is blue, isn't it? It's a kind of like a navy blue background.
You know, Restoration Games came out, but that's not Stronghold. I don't think they have a relationship for that. They had that Downforce game. There's
Automobile.
No,
the Autobahn.
But Automobile is a great guess. That's Martin Wallace. Also with a blue cover.
Stronghold. So this would probably be Eggerspiele.
I think it is. But what games? I can't think of the name, so I'm going to quit.
I just got the new Board Games Insider.
Yeah.
We can't lose it here. Figure it out.
I can't figure it out. No. I've seen
then
the
you
box.
can pull it up and show side by side my beautiful art with it.
Yeah, pull it up.
You ready?
Pull it up.
It's Kraftwagen.
Oh crap!
No,
Kraftwagen.
Kraftwagen.
Kraftwagen, not Crapwagon.
No, it's not Kraftwagen.
And you're excited to get this. This came out 2 years ago.
I know, but it's hard to get.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
I heard the Blue Peg Pink Peg play this, and Jeremy, the Green Peg, talked about it quite a bit, and he really enjoyed this game.
Yeah, I heard it's like Glenmore, but better. So
that's interesting because we posed the question, what game are you most excited about? This is a great thought because so often people are excited about the cult of the new.
Yeah.
And here Daryl is excited about something that's been out for a while. That's an interesting thought.
Did you find the cover?
Yes, I have. Just found it now.
It looks a lot like that, actually. Now that you say it, it's all grayscale with that antique hood of the car.
Right, screen share. There it is. I have to do.
This is the beautiful thing about editing.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. So take a look at. Can you do them side by side?
I can't put them side by side.
Kraftwagen V6.
Yeah, I'd seen the box before, and that's why I started recognizing it. It's very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, so the next show that we go to, can we find a copy of Kraftwagen and play that too? And tell us?
I think we need to.
I haven't played it. It did sound good. I don't remember now why, but
no. Kabuki has stumped again. She hasn't replied. She's gone to the dice tower. She's fed up and losing now.
I'm sorry.
Well, we've lost the game, but we're playing for second now.
Okay.
Yep. I think you'll get this one.
So part 3 is worth 3 points. So because we say part 3, it's worth 3 points. This can win it for us.
Oh, that's how
it's a new rule. We didn't tell you about it. But it's okay.
No. We're the ones with the cattle prods.
What is your current favorite game, the one you're playing, the one that you dream about, that you think about all night long, and you can't use your Dragon Boats game?
No, I'm not using that.
But this is your currently your most favorite game that you of all time. You love this thing.
Yep.
So you're going to give us 5 one-word clues, and we're going to guess after each one of them. And so again, you want to try to stop us, and you cannot use the title of the game or the designer, and that's about it.
I mean, I feel bad for you guys, so I could give you like better than one-word clues.
If you do that, it's on you, and we will take the 3 points.
Perfect. Challenge accepted.
I don't think anybody's ever beaten us, have they, Barry?
Yes, they have, mate.
No, in my mind, nobody has ever beaten us. So,
all right, my first one. I'm gonna make this easier for you guys and harder at the same time. I took these from the components. So there are 15 voyage cards.
15 voyage cards. So more than a one word. Okay, but he gave us a really good clue. 15 voyage cards.
Yeah, that could be a new way to ask questions. You know, read a description from the components list. We got to guess the game. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say I don't know Daryl's gaming taste enough to know where he leans, but let's say that it's Raiders of the North Sea.
I like that guess, but that is incorrect.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of games with voyages in them, and with a limited amount as well, because it's not obviously a main part of the game. Because otherwise it'd be like 50. Game where you go on a voyage. Voyage. No, I'm gonna pass.
All right.
Number
14
2.
merchant cards.
Oh, good grief.
Okay. Okay, so it's not Black Sail. Merchants and Marauders.
No.
I'm gonna say Concordia.
Ooh, one of my favorite games, but not the current fave.
See, that's a game. That's a game that I would put on my list as a game that I'm excited about getting, but I still haven't got it.
We need to do a segment. You know, we're doing the Forest of Evergreen, where we talk about games from the past that we love, but we should do a segment of older games that we still want to play.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think it's Marco Polo. There's no voyage cards in there.
All right, next clue.
Okay, number 3.
This one's super helpful. Like, I'm afraid you're gonna get it from this.
Okay.
13 dice. I gotta bring a dice
13
into it.
Dice game too. Of course, you're the dice man.
This is the 12 days of Christmas. 15 voyage cards, 14 merchants, 13 dice. And
you like what I did there? There's a little order to mine.
13 dice, and you already guessed Voyage of Marco Polo, right?
No, that was Kabuki. I shouldn't be looking at the chat. Cheating. I've got Marco Polo, but there's no merchant. No, there's more merchant tiles than that. Camels. 52 camels. No. Wow. 13 dice. Then again, I know 13 dice.
I don't know where you get 13. That probably wouldn't work. 13.
My next clue is going to be so helpful.
Go for it.
I'm just going to throw out Champions of Midgard.
Another great game, but not the current fave.
Okay.
All right, this clue, you guys are going to get this. I'm confident.
Okay.
I'm super confident. And I had to follow my system. So I had done the 15, the 14, the 13. So I had to pick something that had 12.
12 geese.
I feel like this is going to give it away. But 12 dice holders.
But what's a dice holder? I've got 2 dice holders.
This has 12.
Wow.
I have a dice. I have a dice tower.
Beautiful dice tower.
Dang.
I've diced
I
teas.
feel like he's being very evil.
He
right
is.
He's acting like it's easy for us to know.
I mean,
but it's
I have
not.
my dice tower right here too.
Ooh, the space tower. Ooh. Yo. Ooh.
So why would you have this? Your game is broken because there's 13 dice but only 12 holders.
Right. That's why I thought I would give it away.
12 holders.
And a Tom Vassal greeting
Voyage cards. Too many bones.
Good guess, but no. I've never actually played that.
I'm getting ready to play it. I got my
My
copy.
last clue is like the gift clue. Are you ready for the last
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he always says.
clue? Last clue, easiest clue, Portugal.
Portugal.
Oh yeah, wow.
Portugal.
Why didn't I think of that?
Voyage cards. Portugal. Merchant. Dice.
I'm trying to think of a funny comeback. Oh yeah, that's cool.
I generally really enjoy the Portuguese.
Let Berkey guess first, but I think Badger's got it.
No, I haven't.
No?
No.
Portugal.
Unless
Francis Drake. That doesn't have voyage cards. Portugal.
I'm gonna say Dinos.
Oh no, you don't.
No,
that is incorrect.
Okay.
Dang.
Oh, Berkey, it's on you.
Come on. I gotta get it. Portugal. Just trying to look at my games. I don't think I have this game.
You might not.
Ben says, didn't Berkey talk about this game 2 episodes ago?
That would make sense that I don't know. Portugal. I think Daryl likes heavier games.
Okay.
Can we say Lisboa?
Oh, another great guess, but you are incorrect.
I got it sitting on my shelf of shame.
Are you ready? Are you ready to see what it is?
Yeah, go for it.
Dang it. Oh, crap.
Coimbra.
Coimbra.
Well done. Was it Ben? Well done, Ben. Ben's got it.
Ben's got it?
Yeah.
Ah!
It's awesome.
Is it?
That's
really
a Plan B games, right?
That's correct. Eggertsfield. But yeah, part of that whole conglomerate.
I saw it being played at Dice Tower Con, but I was so busy, in the booth, I didn't get a chance to go over there and demo it or anything.
Yeah, so tell us about it.
Yeah, so the cool thing, and you're asking about the dice holders. To me, this is the part of the game that's so awesome, and I wish I thought of it. It's like one of those moments where you're like, "Oh, I'm a dummy. I should have thought of this, and then I could have made this awesome game." But just like they look almost like the towers from Torres.
Yeah, and you put the dice
Instead, you flip them around, and they fit a die. So then they can hold dice that you draft. So as you say you're the yellow player and you draft the orange die that's a 1, this is your die and you use it as a worker. So you can draft different colored dice and still you'll know who did it. The yellow player drafted the purple 5.
Okay.
And so then you use them. So to me, that's the coolest kind of aha moment in the game. Is they solved the way to have different colored dice, but you know who drafted them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's neat. It's really it's crunchy, it's Euro-y, but I like it.
Yeah,
but that's actually your favorite game. What was your favorite game?
Right now. You said like favorite game right now.
Your current favorite. Yeah.
I've played this game I think 3 times in the last 2 weeks, which is a lot for me because all I've been doing is playing prototypes. So the ability to play the same game 3 times in 2 weeks is a minor miracle.
Yeah, right. I totally get that.
Yeah, I think one of our guests did talk about this game before as well. So as soon as I saw the dice go in the thing, I was like, someone said that. Oh, yes. Someone else said it was a favorite game.
I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of you here, Daryl. 3-0. He took us down. Like
he took us down. I think he's the first player to do that.
This is like we always win all the time. We never lose.
Well, you'll have to bring me back. I'll have to defend my championship.
Now, Barry, if he goes back and does the checking on all of this, we're probably like we've won 30 times and lost 10 times, where I think we've won 40 times.
So 30 out of 40 would be incredible.
It's something like that. Trust me.
Don't make me go back and listen to all the episodes again.
He's a witch. He's a witch. Does he float? Well done. Well done. Well, with that, we are done with our game show with our special guest, Daryl Andrews from Maple Games. What game is behind the door? And we're going to move right on into our next segment, the Babble topic.
The Babble.
Babble.
Sound. There it goes.
Now it's time for the Babble, 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 Berkey and Badger's board game Babble.
Hey. Well, today we are babbling about some different things. We called our show Publisher Wars. Not that publishers are fighting against one another, but the fact that when you decide to become a publisher, in a sense, you're going to war because there's a lot of obstacles to overcome in publishing a game. Wouldn't you say that? Barry? He's muted us because he's got business things to do.
Sorry.
Because he's in a publisher war.
Yeah.
I am in a publisher war. I have no idea what you just said.
And I don't know what I said either. So, Barry, bring us into the Babble Talk topic.
Right, we've just taken our prisoner for a walk in the gardens of Babblot because he is very interesting. Yes, he beat us. Well, we basically have to let him go because he beat us. And so we're having a walk around the gardens and we're talking about the struggles that publishers have. Because I've got some friends, well, everyone in Babblot plays games, and some of them are designers, and some of them have had trouble trying to get their games to market. Some of them have had troubles getting games distributed, and some of them have just fallen into other pitfalls along the way. And so we want to find out from Daryl, as well as discuss between ourselves, why these pitfalls exist and what kind of headache you get, especially if you've fallen down the well thinking it's a pool that you can do your business in.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely experienced a variety of
Falling into wells.
These pitfalls, especially whales. But yeah, no, from the designer standpoint, I mean, I've pitched games that, you know, have received lots of no's. I've had games that have taken years and years and years to come out. As a publisher, you know, there's pitfalls like people will pitch a game that has 1 million parts and it's just too expensive to make, or, you know, it's not developed enough. I mean, there's a variety of things that can really give you a curveball or a surprise along the way. We made a stretch goal for Dragon Boats where everyone's getting a fan, a 3D, like a real fan, as the first player marker. That was the last stretch goal we just reached.
Wow.
And we had already reached out and done a production quote from a factory. So when I came back to them and said, hey, we reached that stretch goal, you know, how much just we want to confirm, like the price of that one component, the price went way up. And we were like, whoa, we can't do that. And they were like, oh, you mean like a smaller fan? And they had quoted us a fan that was too big to fit in the box. Like a wall fan.
Yeah, was it like a horror fan? You dance in front of Kirk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we had to price down, like, no, we don't need that. It's just actually for fun, and it's a first player marker, So please reduce the size of that. And they're now working out a quote to do. Either they'll give us a smaller one that's just one color, or they're even looking into if they can do a print on it. So that's like just a fun extra that might work out. But originally, you know, if we didn't catch that, that could have been quite the problem.
I'd like to see Barry do the fan dance.
Yeah, I would too.
I've tried it, and it hurts. I had to wait for the batteries to run out. Because
When we get a fan, can we get you to do a dance with it?
It'll go viral.
Make that a viral video?
It'll go viral. It won't be good, but it'll go viral.
So one of my friends has had a problem publishing his games in other continents due to the fact that he has a very strict rule. All of his games that he's produced are 100% recyclable. And
awesome.
Finding another distributor or publisher to publish his game in other countries is impossible because they can't meet the needs of what he wants. And I mean, I think that's a great thing that he wants this kind of, he has this kind of ethos. That's a big word for me.
Ooh.
Wow. What have I been drinking?
You're very intelligent. He's
Sure,
been drinking intelligent water.
Wow. Yeah, so he has this ethos of, you know, how he wants his company to be reflected. And obviously everyone else cannot live up to his expectations. So he can't get his game everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you encountered anything like that?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I do some design work with a designer. His name's Sylvain Plante. And he has a polar bear game. It's not the one that everyone saw like a year or so ago. It's another one, but he had designed it with the same kind of ethos. Let's use your smart word to try to have not only the game have a message, but have the components match the message that things like global warming are affecting the polar caps and then affecting polar bears. So he's been trying to pitch this game, and he's struggling to find a publisher that will take on not only the game but the mission. The other, on the flip side, I heard about is one of the designers of Jenga. He has a solo company now where he has manufactured and produced Jenga pieces out of recycled plastic, and the plastic is from nets in the ocean. So like resalvaged and recycled plastic that's stuck in stuck in fishing nets. And he's managed to recycle those and make Jenga pieces out of it. It's a custom, like, special order. It's not like through Hasbro. You have to buy it through his own thing. But I was originally even hoping to try to connect with him because I saw this really cool game I was thinking about signing about you drop black dice, and the black dice represents oil going out of an oil rig. It was spilling out, and the dice tower was the oil rig. And they kick out in different directions. And so when I saw it, my first thought was, I got to connect the Jenga guy I know, try to make black recycled dice, because then you would have this like crazy cool moment of like you're playing this game, making the world better while talking about the message.
You could have that dice tower that like Queen Games used for, you know, Immortals and Shogun, and where some of them stay in the tiles.
I shouldn't give it away because he signed it with someone else, so I can't show it. It's on. I actually have it, but it spits dice out in multiple directions.
Wow!
So it's not just out like the front of a funnel; it's center of like the ocean, and it's kicking out in different ways. You got to save the sea creatures.
Wow, that sounds
interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool game, and I don't know if I'm at liberty to say who ended up signing it, but I was trying. So I think it'll be awesome. If you see a game out there that's like that, hopefully they do recycled dice.
So
I think
companies are quite interested in publishing games which have the theme of saving the world, but making games which are actually do save the world out of recyclable parts or pieces that have already been is still an obstacle.
It is an obstacle, but I think it's an obstacle we need to try to take on. I know Blue Orange, for instance, is now doing, I believe, I don't know the exact details, but I think they plant 1 or 2 trees for every King Domino purchased.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So that's like another example of, I think publishers are finding ways to do good while also making fun.
Making money, you mean? Not making
Yeah.
fun. Making money.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, one thing that you talked about a little bit with just regarding your fan, I'm assuming, tell me if I'm incorrect, but are you developing that product in Asia?
Yeah.
That's where most of the game boards are, so I didn't want to just make that assumption. But oftentimes an obstacle in designing and producing a product, especially if you're dealing with another country or another language, tends to be that language barrier, because something so simple like, hey, in your mind, you want a fan.
Yeah.
But that could mean something totally different in another audience. And so, you know, having that language barrier, I know I deal with companies in Asia. And so getting clarification and making sure that you are precise and there's nothing missing in the translation is really critical. That's an obstacle.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How many times have I gone to the doctor to say I've got a bad neck? In French, it's que. But when I say it's coup, and coup means your derriere. So I can go to the doctor and it's like, I've got a bad ass. My bad ass.
And they get out the rubber gloves and the oil, and that's been the problem, hasn't it, Barry?
Yes, it has. And again, you know, problems in production about translation. If you're having your game translated into another language, that causes all kinds of headaches. I mean, I know a little bit about that because I've had French publishers ask me to check their English translation, and it's like, oh my God, what's that mean? What's that saying?
I have a funny translation story that I got to experience at Essen last year.
Yeah,
so it's funny. It was funny. I was sitting in, like, they have like the little restaurant-y thing in the corner, and hall 3, I think it is. And I'm sitting there, and I see someone come that worked for, I can't remember. I think they worked for Yellow at the time, and they were doing they do some translation work. And as we're sitting there, a couple of designers come up, and it's Brett Gilbert and Matt Dunstan. And they come over and they have a Yellow game. And it's funny because they had never met. And she goes, "Oh, well, I translated your game to English." And they went, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I translated your game to English." And they're like, "We're English. Like, why do you have to translate our rules to English?" And she's like, "Oh, no, because the way we work is we turn the game into French, and then I get hired to translate from the French rules to English."
Oh, wow.
And they're like, "Hey, next time, just let us know. We'll just send you the rules in English."
And she should go, "No, because I want to be paid."
Yeah, I need a job.
That's funny.
Oh, dearie me, that is funny.
Well, you've had a little bit of experience with that translating into French, correct, Barry?
Mm-hmm. I find it easier to translate from French to English because I don't know, I can read French quite easily and understand. I have the mentality of a board gamer, so it's quite easy to like put something into the right frame of mind for the game. But translating to French, I'm not a very good French writer. I don't know how to write. You know, I go out shopping and I have to write a check. I don't write the check. I give it to them to write the check for me because I still can't spell "dece." For me, it's D-E-S-E, dece. But anywho, yeah, translation it can be a bummer for companies, I think. There are some companies that want an exact translation of the rules, rule by rule. And I've had experience with that. And that's not fun because there's like, sometimes you're reading it and you go, well, really, they should add another line in here to make it a bit more clearer. And they don't want me to do it. And then some cases, like the Badass Force one, I'm asked to just translate it however I want and make it read legibly, but in English, which is nice. I've got this bit of freedom. I'm translating their game, but I'm putting it into like kind of like my style of humor as well as my knowledge of how board games should be taught. So that's really interesting. But that, as I said, that could be that can be hurtful for your game if you publish a game in another language and the rulebook sucks. I think some companies struggle with that as well, and so it doesn't sell well in another country because no one can play the game, or they have problems playing the game, or it's a bugbear of the game which makes it annoying to get out and verify. Let's think of another big word. Illuminati. There you go. Sorry, my train ran out of steam there.
Well, I have a thought, and this has to do with a question that Barry actually had written down, but it said how to sell a game when a prominent reviewer calls the game bad, for instance. I think we have a lot of people. We come from a media content background. You know, Barry and I have been doing content for a while. You also are very prolific in the hobby, doing content for a variety of different things. And when you have somebody that has, let's just use the word influence. In other words, they have some visibility, and their opinion says this game is bad. Again, I feel personally that these are opinions which are very subjective, and they can be influenced by taste, a variety of different factions. If you had a bad experience with a publisher, you might have a bias. There's all kinds of things that go into our opinions, right?
Yep.
So what happens when an opinion is presented in a reasonably forceful manner? And now as a publisher, you have to overcome that obstacle. I'm thinking of one particular thing. I'm asking the question, but I want to cite an example. I noticed this was about a year ago. A prominent reviewer, and I just won't mention the name, you guys will probably get it, but a prominent reviewer had negative feelings of the game. Stronghold Games, on the other hand, utilized that negative in their marketing and started marketing, this is a game so-and-so hates. Right. But, and it actually created this huge fervor around the game. Sure. This is just a thought, but how do you so you got Dragon Boats coming out. I know people are raving about this. People are going, this looks fantastic. But what do? You got someone that says, oh, I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely happens. I've definitely had experiences where even one reviewer can drastically change the momentum of a game. I think that example of Strongholds is phenomenal, where they were able to have fun with it and keep it going. And I think some publishers have the ability to do that. I think sometimes it's just tough. It can really, really hurt a game. And so that's where I try to find reviewers that aren't as motivated about getting their opinion across, and instead they're trying to convey what kind of game it is and what kind of crowd's going to like it. I mean, so not saying that I would, I'm not putting words into any reviewer's mouth. I mean, we just send it out and hope, we hope that because it's a good game, they'll notice that. But we also do try to pick reviewers that celebrate different games for different people, and that it's not all about just their own taste. I think in general, I mean, I gravitate to those type of reviews when it comes to movies or books or you name it. I'm not looking for the writer to tell me their thoughts, to be honest. I don't kind of care. But I am looking in those circumstances to try to read between the lines and say, is this something that I'm going to dig? So talk about what it does and what it does well, and respect that the listener or watcher or reader knows how to discern. I think that's the way to go about it. But there's lots of people that give reviews and it's good clickbait to be really negative. So
I think you hit something really big there, Daryl, is that these rant videos, they get a huge following, and I don't know why as a society or as a people group we look for that sensational stuff, but we do. Yep. And I don't care for it personally, but it's like those things always rub me wrong.
But they work, unfortunately.
But they work. Yeah.
like box opening videos. I don't know how they get so many clicks. It's so boring.
It's just like you just opened the box.
Yeah, it's like, well, what's the game about? What is that? How does that interact with that?
Yeah, we do our first impression segment when Barry and I just do the solo podcast called The Good, the Not So Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
And so we have this first impression of what we think is good based on a first impression, and then a not so bad, and then a ugly. But we hardly ever do an ugly. I mean, this game has to be so egregious that but I'm sure if we focused on the ugly, we might get more attention because people love to see people get all excited about the negative. But, you know, I've always been of the position, you know, rather than if there's a game I just hate, more than likely, I'm just not going to talk about it because I don't want, you know, I might hate it, but who am I? Why would I want to hurt somebody that they're trying to do something well? Now, if there's a people might disagree, and that's just totally okay. If you feel like you need to be the game police and you're there to help people, I get that. And part of that I think is valuable. So, but for me to go, okay, my opinion is I hate this game, and for whatever reason I hate it. What if you got this fledgling company that's just starting out their dream?
Totally.
And you're, you know, you got Dragon Boats here, and somebody has this great big whoop-de-doo that they hate it for whatever reason. Maybe they've got a vendetta. Who knows? And all of a sudden, you know, that has a negative impact. You know, to me, those are not kind things that we should be doing as reviewers.
And again, as a reviewer, shouldn't do that. A reviewer should be able to take they're supposed to be looking at this as a item, and they're supposed to point out the good qualities and the bad qualities. If they just point out bad qualities, they're not a good reviewer. Because every game is a good game in someone's eyes, and it's pointing out exactly whose eyes this is going to be appealing to. You can say as well, I mean, I always use the thing, this game is great and fantastic, but I don't like playing it. I don't want to play it again because it's not my thing. And that's it. Move on. And again, a lot of publishers will vet their reviewers before they send games out instead of just everywhere. So they know that, all right, they've just played the prototype here at Gen Con. Okay, you like this game? Yeah, I do. Right, here's a copy. Go and do a video. And that's what sells. But who am I to say anything? I'm just a reviewer.
Well, I think as reviewers and people who put out information, we do need to be cognitive that these are people's lives, these are people's dreams that are out there, and we want to be considerate of that. And so I think that's important. And at the same point, we don't want reviewers to be just yes men that are just shilling product, right?
Yeah. I got one last question for Daryl.
Please.
How much do you think the title of a game affects sales?
That's a good question. I think in any product, I think title matters. It doesn't have to. It's not necessarily going to be the thing that sells your game, but I think it can sometimes get in the way. So an example that I have experience with, I did some consulting for IDW games, and they have a phenomenal game that now actually I think the rights are with Pandasaurus called The Game. And that is wonderful. I mean, honestly, I've played that a ton of times. I played that game a ton of times. But right there, you see, it is difficult to talk about. It's difficult to search. It's difficult to market. Yeah, you can have some fun with it and you can laugh at it. But it's difficult for a customer to go into a Target or somewhere and be like, "Hey, can I get the game?" Like that doesn't work. So I think that's an example of a name getting in the way. But I don't think a name's necessarily going to sell a game. I think every game could be renamed to something. You know, there's nothing that's totally crucial or, you know, you have to call it. But some names are helpful. Some names are at least neutral. I like game names that actually are a little different than just like a name of a place. I get why that happens. For example, my friends Jay and Sen, they have a game called Tortuga. That game used to be called Swashbucklers, but there's no German word for swashbuckler. So, for instance, when Queen was figuring out the name, then they were like, well, everyone's got a location on their map, so we can call it Tortuga. So I find sometimes naming a game after a place is a little too cliche-ish, but it still works.
Yeah. I mean, again, in the States, you have Rococo.
Yep.
But in France, we call it Maître Couturier, which means a master threadsman. I don't know what Rococo means, but...
Rococo is a time period of clothing.
Yeah, so you've got two different titles. Basically, you've got a master clothes sewer, and then you have a time period. Yeah. So, I mean, that works in each country.
Totally. I wish it was master clothes maker or whatever that is, or tailor. Yeah, that really describes the game.
Yeah. Right. So if you was to put on Kickstarter a game called Free Fan Game, do you think that would sell?
I don't know.
Or window dice.
Window dice, yeah.
You know, this is a good point. And before we end our segment, we're going to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about Dragon Boats. But I take a title like Dragon Boats, and I go, ooh.
Right.
You know, right away, there's an intrigue factor based on the name.
There's an intrigue factor with Free Fan Game. It's like, ooh, a free fan. I need one of them. They come with batteries.
Yeah, Ben Lunches, he makes a comment about Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. You know, there's certain names that are very intriguing. And so, you know, naming a game, I think is important. Yep. It may not be win or lose, you know, it might be break or break, but make or break. But Dragon Boats is very intriguing. You feel like, okay, something's happening here with an invasion, or is this an Asian dragon? Is this a, you know, from the artwork you look at it and the name goes ooh, or is this Viking Norse themed? I mean, immediately there's an intrigue factor.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but how many games have got the word dragon in them? Dragon Castle, Dungeons and Dragons, Dice and Dragons.
We were shocked. We were shocked that Dragon Boats is not taken. Like that was a real that's shocking.
Huh. I suppose that has to go into your obstacle, overcoming obstacle formula. Is to find out what is taken, what isn't taken, doing a good, reasonable search like any other business would about their business name.
Yeah, I think that all plays into it. I mean, you want your product to differentiate. You don't want confusion. I had a game come out from IDW. It's co-designed with John Gilmore called Outpost. And so we had a few different versions, Outpost Siberia, Outpost Amazon. But Stronghold has a game called Outpost. And then The Thing board game came out and it was called Outpost
as well. Yeah.
So there became a little bit of market confusion. I think even Trajan is getting a remake, but there's also another game coming out from someone that has like Trajan something, and they're both Feld games.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, every name has kind of like pros and cons.
Yeah, even if you like make up a word or change a few letters, that's even worse as well because people can't find it because it's like
it doesn't search in the geek well or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And in regards to theming, you obviously play a lot of prototypes. Do you ever is that sometimes an obstacle? You play a game and it has a theme, and you go, "Well, there's 50,000 games which have that theme. Can we do something else?"
Yeah. With it? Oh. We've been going back and forth a while on a game that we signed. We signed a game from Alan Moon and Bobby West. It's an original design, super fun. Like you play it, it works, it's great. The theme is pirates. There's so many pirate games out there. It's like, how do you differentiate? So we've been going on and on about like how could we make this game a little unique and a little special. We've bounced off of so many ways, but you feel like pirates when you play. So it's like that's right, but like, how could we angle pirates? Like, so we ended up brainstorming with the artists, and through that conversation, we came to we think a really fun twist. And so there's space pirates. And we're setting it in the ring of Saturn, and you're going around, moving around the ring of Saturn, and the islands are actually the moons of Saturn. So it, like, some things translate there, but it gives us just like a little more fun, a little more theme, a little more world that we can play with, but still with gruff kind of fun pirates, so that the game matches the experience. And then we love the name. Originally, it was called Pirates Fold, because you were joining like the Pirates Fold, and one of the mechanics, you fold something. And then we've now renamed it Folding Space.
Ooh, that's a catchy name.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it's better than Space Cat Pirates. I mean, there you go. If your artist did carrots, I think that game would sell millions.
Right. Cats are an interesting thing. I have a game with a publisher they're evaluating. It's not signed, and it's called 9 Lives.
Cats.
And it's cats in the Colosseum.
I like that.
They're cat gladiators.
Cat gladiators.
I feel like that is amazing, but it's taken some time to evaluate.
Yeah. Make sure the game is good. I mean, there's so many different obstacles that a publisher has to go through. I had just one thought that I wanted to ask you about from your perspective, having a little bit of marketing experience, but how the global marketing audience is and the ways that we attract that attention. And is that an obstacle to address a global marketing approach with your product?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think now, like, we live in a world that's so interconnected. We have to be thinking about everything on a global perspective. I mean, we have such diverse communities now as well, that like we can kind of get away with being able to think big by even just connecting with the people around us that are diverse. So I think that helps. I mean, for example, for us at Maple, I mean, we have great relations with our logistics team that's in China. We have we work with Arnaud Charpentier with Madigo, who's in Paris. We work with we're friends with people like at Colossal, who have people in Indianapolis and San Fran. Like, we're kind of like, when we're having conversations with people, they're literally all over the world trying to figure out different steps to a game. So the whole process now is global, is defining and making the game, but also then thinking of it as a product. We can ask each other, where are we, going to be received well, and how do we do that well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I just looking at your Dragon Boats campaign that we want to talk about in closing, I saw that you did offer international distribution, and you had that laid out fairly well. But as I'm working currently with Game Toppers, taking that to an international audience, and we've already opened up to go to Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and we're working on relationships with intra-Europe shipping. We already have a nice relationship with Snakes and Lattes in Canada.
Yeah, there's a lot of great partners that are doing things well, and finding the right partner and building that relationship, I think, helps a lot. But it's also just really expensive. Like, I've fielded a lot of questions where people are like, hey, any chance that shipping could be lower? And it's like, it's just the cost of business. This is, gas is not cheap. And, one way or another, vehicles are consuming, ways to move. So one way or another, this costs a bunch of money to get this parcel from China to us to you. And unfortunately, it's costly. Things weigh and are physical, and they're big, and so it's gonna, I'm sure it even more firsthand with Toppers, trying to get a big product to people that's phenomenal, and people know it's a great value. But then adding that shipping is just like one more thing that people are like, I don't want to pay that, but you do. Like that's
and then you're also dealing with that, and people who live in a certain portion of the world, they understand that Canada, they understand taxes for provincial taxes. But if there's a way that we can successfully negotiate a way to get it into the country in a way that it costs them less, with other companies and partnerships and different relationships that are legal and all of that. It takes a lot of effort to develop and understand those things and to get that handled logistically.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of skills in that, and connecting with brokers and figuring out, things like duty and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is not to pay enough, and then the boat runs out of fuel, and so they end up burning your stock to keep the boat going.
Right. or maybe pirates.
Yeah, exactly. I actually have
enough insurance.
I actually have transit insurance for that particular event.
Yep.
That if we have a piracy issue. And it's crazy, but that's the world we live in. Well, I think the show, we're nearing the end here, but we just want to give you a little bit of an opportunity. Could you tell us just a little bit about Dragon Boats and your Kickstarter campaign and what the game is about and how that's available to people?
Absolutely. So people can find us on Kickstarter now. We're on there for, I believe, another 11 days. And we've already reached our funding goal, but our hope is to reach lots more stretch goals. So we have a bunch of fantastic ones planned. I already mentioned the fan we've reached, but we'd love for more people to join us. Check out the Kickstarter page. When you go there, you'll see videos and descriptions of the game for anyone that's curious about the gameplay. The way the game works, it's a 2 to 4 player game. It takes an hour or less. So it's that kind of nice medium ticket to ride size box, and you get lots of really cool components inside. If you're watching, you can see on the screen. The idea of the game is that you're going to the market, buying up resources. The bidding system in the game is really elegant and really cool. When you place your disc out to go get something, you stack your discs on top of each other. And when you are done placing all your discs, the top person gets to choose first, but they have to pay the cost of the height. So, for instance, you might get in last and be the third disc, but you have to pay $3 to acquire a good. If you're the first one in, you get the last choice, but you only have to pay $1. So it's got this nice, neat, very simple bidding mechanic. You jump onto 3D dragon boats. Again, depending on where you go on the dragon boat, if you go in the front, you get the perks of getting off the boat first and grabbing stuff. But if you're in the back, you get to direct the boat because you're steering the boat. So again, even those little choices like choosing where you're in the boat. And then finally, when you go out and explore the different islands, you're going out there and you're trying to collect the tokens that are on each of the tokens, but you're also trying to area control, get your meeples together. So again, you just always have these little interesting choices of if you want to go on the back of the boat, the front of the boat, if you want to, go to the market and spend a lot but get choice, if you want to, go for that spot on the island because of a cool token. But all of it's really easy to learn. The way I describe it is it's a very elegant design game. Michael Stock designs elegant games where it's easy to learn, but the interaction around the table is what makes it difficult. Is that person going to go for that? Are they going to beat you to that boat? All that kind of stuff. So that's Dragon Boats of the Four Seas, designed by Michael Stock. The art's done by Peter Woken, who is the creative director with Maple. And we really are excited about the game. We're excited to reach some more stretch goals so we can make the even more fancy components in the game. But we already got those 3D dragon boats and some cool stuff like that. We offer a deluxe version or a base model. The deluxe version has all kind of the expansion components inside. So if someone just gets the base, we will offer the expansion later on for an additional cost. Or you can get the deluxe and you'll get everything that you'd ever need for the game. So it's a really great value if you want to pledge up to the deluxe. And then we offer some add-ons, some swag, some maple hats, some maple shirts, and even a maple puzzle that's made by Stumpcraft, a wooden puzzle of the box cover.
Wow.
I thought some of your stretch goals look fantastic. The production of the dragon boats look really amazing. I backed at the deluxe level before this show was even scheduled. Right away, I was interested in the product. I love the artwork. I love the production value. The game mechanics look really great. But I love the fact that you added there's a lot of people in this hobby that are good friends of yours, and to proudly wear today I'm wearing a Haunted Game Cafe cap.
Yep.
Gary from the Haunted Game Cafe in Colorado. Wonderful people that I've gotten to know, and things like these mean something to me. Yeah. To wear, and to wear your maple cap. I think it's kind of got this army green look. Yeah, and shirts and things of this nature.
I got my Star Wars t-shirt on, and I don't like Star Wars. It's strange,
but people love swag, and I love the fact that you added that to the campaign as just another way to support you as a person, you as a company, and then also the hobby in general. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed with lots of great people that I've gotten to work with, and I wear their swag proudly, and I'm excited to see a maple hat or a maple shirt out in the wild. So
yeah. Sorry. Well, I'm definitely going to get one. So
I got my t-shirt.
Oh, backwards.
There it is. Board Games Everybody Should by Barry Doublet.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Daryl, for joining us, even though it was against your own volition. Wow. That's another big word. Excuse me. Whoa, what's in this water? Yeah. It's been great to meet you for the first time. Berkey's met you many, many times, obviously. Hopefully you'll meet in better circumstances, not in a pool.
Oh, I'll happily meet in a pool. If anyone
from now on, let's just have our business meetings in the pool, shall we?
Pool only. I have a very, very restrictive schedule.
Yeah, this has been a super fun. Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us on the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show. Where can they find you, Barry?
They can find me on BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com. They can find you on BoardGameTheatre.com. And you can find us here at Berkey and Badger YouTube channel, as well as all those other places. And our Board Game Geek Guild 2248, where I'll put another question up about the struggles of a publisher.
Yeah, we can ask people what they perceive as their biggest struggle, or the thing that hinders them from joining a Kickstarter or something of that nature.
Probably the problem they have the most is getting out of the pool.
Daryl, how can people find you?
Yeah, well, I mean, our Kickstarter, if anyone's looking for that, they can just do dragonboatsgame.com, and that'll take them right to the Kickstarter. We have a website, maple.games. If you're looking to connect on other social media like Twitter, Facebook, any of those, you can search for Maple Board Games. Or if you'd like to talk to me direct, they can find me at Daryl M. Andrews. Looks like Daryl Mandrews. And you can find me on Twitter or Facebook. I love interacting with other gamers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we sure appreciate all that you do for the hobby, Daryl. You're a great ambassador of the board gaming community, and we sure appreciate that. I know many people have great kudos and respect for you, as do I. So thank you.
It sounds like you have an interesting rise to glory kind of story.
We're trying at least.
Starting off as a lonely game designer, and now you're a game publisher, and who knows, maybe your own Amazon.
Hey, I'll take it.
As well, I'd just like to give a quick little shameless plug. Game Toppers are shipping now. We are totally done with fulfillment and delivered over 1,100 packages successfully. So if you would like to get your own Game Topper, We have several products in stock. We're very limited on the amount of toppers, have a lot of our different thematic game mats. We have 10 different thematic styles. The castle mat, the adventure mat, our #1 seller, the space mat, our premium red 3mm stitched edge mats. They're all available. You can get our rail bundles if you're an existing customer and you want to add different things to. You can do that at GameToppersLLC.com. We'd love to have you a part of Game Topper Nation. And with that, Barry, send us out.
Okay.
We're so glad we had this time together. And now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Turkey and Badger will be back
In no time.
I should really pause it before then. Okay, and we're off.